with this talk, right? Since I typically do like more mental models, decision making, ways of thinking about things, I wanted to get more so into the inner game. I want to go from the head into the heart. And one of the reasons why I wanted to have this conversation is because we think that success is just about numbers and weights and how much weight am I moving and how many calories did I burn and how many protein grams did I eat and all that other shit. And what I told every single one of you is when you first got started is that the hardest part of this game is the emotional side. The hardest part of getting in shape, staying in shape, and leveraging fitness in your life to make your overall life better is definitely the game, the emotional side, the inner game, the spiritual side, even, right? Because we are more than just 206 bones and pounds of flesh and fat and muscle and organs and all that. Like we are ultimately a spiritual being, whatever your denomination. I don't care if you believe in God or whatever we call it, infinite intelligence. We could call it Buddha. We call it Krishna. We call it fucking Black Jesus. Whatever you need, right? Like I don't really care, but ultimately, right? We are so much more than just our forearms, our four appendages and a torso, right? How many of you have really started to realize that as the game's progressed, right? Maybe you've lost a couple pounds, maybe you've been with me for a long time, that this is so much more than just, oh, I need to lose fat. Can I get a couple hand raises? Guys, if you could turn your cameras on, that would be really awesome if it's possible. Even if you are in the middle of other things, it's cool. I would much rather talk to your faces and than just a bunch of black screens. That'd be great. So, um, with that being said, right, I wanted to touch more on the heart because I just spent an entire weekend in a business conference. And out of the three 16-hour days, there was one day where we spent about the entire day on the inner game of financial success and business success, which is the exact same thing as weight loss success and body transformation success. Because at the end of the day, there's no such thing as new fundamentals. Success in any area requires the same ingredients, right? They're just applied in a different manner. And so for me, that day, those 10 hours that we spent on the inner game were so much more impactful than the fucking ad strategies and how do you what questions do you ask on the call and what videos do you send and like how do you talk to guys and things like that and like what are you posting. Like we spent 9 fucking hours on content creation and the whole time I'm like sitting there, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's cool, okay, that's cool. But the real impact of the weekend that I was at came from two things. Number one, community. Some of those guys I've been friends with now for years and getting a chance to actually spend some time with some of the other biggest coaches in the industry. One of my best friends in that community is this guy named Kevin Haynes, and he operates at a completely different level, right? His average group call has 120 people on it. You know what I mean? Like he's got like a whole different ball game, right? So I love spending time with him and just picking his brain on just small little things. But the thousands of dollars that I spent on that weekend, my ROI came all from two talks. And one of them was all about the inner game because I realized that, like, if I'm not aligned with my actions, my head, my heart, and my spirit, then nothing works. Right? How many times have you been, and whether it's at work or even a workout or, just any sort of goal, like when your actions don't align with your head, your heart, and your spirit, it's almost like nothing works. It feels like you're stuck. It feels like you're just spinning your wheels. Right. And so for some of the new guys, right, that have a ton of excitement, you're like, dude, I'm fucking crushing. That's great. I want to tell you why you're crushing. For some of the guys that have been in here for maybe a month or 2 months, you might be feeling like you're experiencing, if you remember the emotional cycle of change, right? You might be in what's called D2. You might be down here. You might be realizing that this is actually a little bit harder than we may have originally anticipated. We may have had setbacks. We may have had vacations. We may have had business meetings. We may have had other things. And even though you know what you need to do, you're starting to get a little bored. You're like, oh, I got to eat the same fucking macros again. Or like, oh man, I got to do this leg day again. I know when I was first getting started, it was leg day that would get me. I'd be like, oh my God, dude, another fucking set of squats. Oh my God, and like you get to that stage. Maybe some of you are down here and your overall belief is just like, is this even possible? Like, am I ever actually going to get the body that I want, the health that I want, the vibrancy that I want? And so it's typically 10-80-10, right? Like 10% of people are somewhere up here, 10% of people are somewhere around here, and then 80% of you guys are in between stages 2 and 4, depending on how long you've been in the program. Maybe you're in stage 4 and you're just like, yeah, no, like I know that it's not necessarily the most exciting thing to like hit your macros and hit your workouts, but like I'm excited because I'm starting to see the results that I'm looking for, and I stuck with it through the valley of despair. And so what I want to really hone in on is these first 4 stages. Because I'll tell you, even when you get to stage 5, what ends up happening is you start to look at where you're at and you're like, and this is normal, is you start to look at where you're at and you're like, oh man, like I'm here and I look really good and I feel really good and my body feels really good and like I have a ton of energy, but it's like, yeah, I could probably get to another level. And then the whole the whole thing starts again. There's always a new mountaintop, right? And so I want, and that is an advantage and a disadvantage at the same time. So I want to get into it here, and I want to have the 6 laws because I think it's really important. I think it's important that we start to align our head and our heart because that's going to make everything seem a little bit easier. Well, not necessarily easier, but you'll feel the energetic increase where consistency will feel easier. So let's get into it. Okay. So first things first. I don't have my iPad. It's not charged from the weekend. So I got to use this stupid little thing. First things first. Size 24. Divine intelligence. This is the first law. Okay. Number 1, divine intelligence. Now, I kind of touched on this a little bit earlier. Whether you want to call it God, superior intelligence, infinite intelligence, divine intelligence, Krishna, Buddha, fucking Jesus Christ, Black Jesus, I don't really care. It does not matter, right? What you call it does not matter. But one of the things that I've learned when I take a look back at my life, when I take a look back at everything that has ever happened to me, every struggle, everything that I've ever had to overcome, everything that felt like it was a disadvantage, it's always set me up for a bigger advantage. The world, whether it's negative or positive, the universe is one giant yes button. The universe is one giant yes button. Everything that you want in this world already exists. You are already fit. Now you might be saying, well, hey, I took a look at the scale, man, and the scale says I'm not where I want to be. Yeah, but guess what? You don't get fit, quote unquote, and look good by adding in new ingredients, right? It's not like you need to find your abs. It's not like you need to find your biceps. It's not like you need to like go to Home Depot and pick up a shoulder. It's all in there. It's already there. Everything that you want already exists. This could apply to money. This could apply to the house you want to buy, the car you want to buy. The house that you want, right? It's either already built or the lumber is already sitting in Home Depot. Everything already exists. And if I were to ask you, where were you 3 years ago? Where were you 3 years ago? Where were you last year? How far have you come in the past month? How far have you come in the past 90 days? What have you learned? What habits have you gotten better at? And by the way, nobody's fucking perfect. My video that I posted this morning, guess how many sessions of cardio I missed last week because I was at the event? Half. Me, I'm on prep. I'm king shit, right? Like this is my whole thing and I'm fucking discipline and all that stuff. Habits, commitment, and all that stuff. Well, I had 12 to 16 hour days in the conference. And at 10 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night, I chose, no, I'm not going to fucking do cardio. I'm going to go prioritize sleep because I got to be up at 4:30 to get to the gym in the morning anyways. I missed 2 meals. One of those days I only ate 900 calories. I'm supposed to be eating, I don't even get to eat that much. I only get to eat like 1,800 calories, but I still only had half. So my recovery was off. I had 3 potential client calls on Sunday that I missed. Now my flight got delayed, but I could have did the last one. But I was so energetically off that I ended up just texting him and we had to reschedule for this week. Like nobody's perfect. Nobody bats 1,000 in life. And so everything that we're doing, there's a divine intelligence. There's a reason why it's happening. And we can either choose to ignore that reason, which is only going to perpetuate the thing continuing to happen, and is only going to send you in a negative spiral downwards, and is only going to get you perpetually worse results. Or we can realize that every disadvantage comes with a seed of an equal advantage. And how we react, how we respond emotionally to when things aren't going our way. The scale goes up a little bit. We miss a couple meals. We miss a workout. Life happens. Guys, sustainability and consistency do not come from being perfect. They come from not taking yourself out of the game when shit isn't perfect. Let me say that one more time. Sustainability and consistency do not come by being perfect. It comes from not taking yourself emotionally out of the game when things aren't perfect. And so we have to remember that we're not doing this alone. You're not alone in this game. Whether it's me, Aaron, the community, or whatever higher intelligence, all 3 exist. You can have help, you can ask for help, and you have to remember you're not doing this alone. If you want to use God as a denomination, there is by far my favorite quote. I heard it in 2013. I wasn't even slightly spiritual or religious or whatever you want to call it. But I go back to this so many times. God cannot do for you what it cannot do through you. It is a team effort. Everything about this is a combined effort. Right? There's the old joke where the priest walks up to he's walking through the desert and he finds a house that has a beautiful garden in the middle of the desert. Knocks on the door and he goes, "Hey, I just wanted to say, like, it is beautiful what God did with your vegetation and your fruit." And the gardener says, "Yeah, you should have seen what it looked like when it was only God." It's the combined effort. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that you need to be this religious guy and read your Bible every day or anything along those lines. But there is an inner aspect where if you let go and detach just a little and say, hey, things are going to work out, and have that faith in whatever you want, you can attract and build the body that you want. You can have the life that you want, the energy that you want, the relationships that you want. Everything is out there. Law number 2. Rhythm and flow. I found my life tends to move in seasons, just like the earth. There's winter, and after winter comes what, guys? After winter comes what? I saw a couple guys mouth it, but we're on mute.
Spring.
Blake, you said it. Spring. Right? And after spring comes?
Summer.
Summer. And after summer comes?
Fall.
Fall. Yeah, there we go. Get some interaction here. And so with that, the world and the universe all moves in seasons. There's a season for sowing and there's a season for reaping, but you never do both in the same season. Hear me again. There's a season for planting and there's a season for harvesting, but you never do both in the same season. There is a gestation period. There is a period of growth where the seed has to become something else. It has to grow. And if you're in your first month or 2 months or 3 months, you are not in this season of reaping. You're in the season of harvesting. I'm sorry, you're in the season of sowing. You're just planting the seeds of these habits. You're just planting the seeds of these macros. You're just planting the seeds of these decisions. Everything has a gestation period. I think for carrots, it's like 3 weeks. For a human child, it's 9 months. When you want to make changes in your life, you want to completely restructure your body, it takes time. And every decision that you make is just watering that same seed over and over and over again. So don't rush the process. There isn't a farmer on the planet who plants a carrot seed and then walks out a week later after watering it day after day after day after day for 7 days straight and walks out after 7 days and goes, why is there no carrot? When you got your wife pregnant, you didn't go up to her after 3 months and say, well, where is it? Right? When we want to change our lives, we want to change how our body shows up in this world, we want to change our habits and our skills. There's a season for harvesting, there's a season for reaping, but you never do both in the same season. It's a rhythm and flow. It's an up and down. It takes time. You're going to go through spurts where the scale's going to fucking chop off, and then you're going to plateau for a little while, and then we're going to make some changes. Then it's going to chop. But then even after we do make changes, you might have a season or a month where you're only losing half a pound a week, 1 pound a week. That's all good. You might even have a season where you net out 0. Guys, I can't tell you how many months where like my progress, if I only used the scale to measure success, I would have thought I was the biggest fucking failure on the planet. Even in this prep, if I only used the scale as the measuring tool for my success, I would have thought I was a failure. So you're going to go through different seasons. That's why I showed the emotional cycle of change. There's going to be times where you're so motivated and you're so dialed in for weeks. And then you're going to have those weeks where it's like, fucking, you're going to want to like punch yourself in the face and be like, well, where did it go? Why am I not motivated? Why don't I feel great? I'm frustrated all the time. That's part of the game. And see, with our careers and everything along those lines, we think, oh, yeah, like that's normal. Like you're frustrated in your career. Like, okay, everyone gets frustrated in their career. But for some reason, when it comes to our health and our fitness, we think that we're wrong because we're not fucking David Goggins. Like David Goggins was a Navy SEAL, guys. And not only that, and this is my only thing when people are like, they idolize David Goggins. It's like, dude, that guy has, if he has kids, he has no relationship with his kids, and he hasn't been in a successful marriage. That's not the life I want to fucking live. The dude just runs all the time. It's like, yeah, it's inspiring and it's cool, and I read his book and I love that, but I don't ever emulate that life. I don't ever want to be David Goggins. Right? I want to win in every area. I want to have an amazing body that looks good and moves well. I want to have a fucking intimate, fiery, amazing, sexy, beautiful relationship with my wife. I want my kids to know that I'm here and I'm present and I'm emotionally secure, to give them space to understand who they are as a human being, and I can set them up for success with the same decision skills. I want my clients to know, my business to flourish, that like everything that I'm doing is to set you guys up for success. And I couldn't do that if I was just Mr. fucking perfect all the time with my my fitness and I was running for 7 hours a day. So it's rhythm and flow, guys. That's law number 2. Attention and intention. This is law number 3. Better said, whatever you focus on expands. If I were to ask you to compare yourself not to what you want to become, but to who you were a year ago, 2 months ago, 6 weeks ago, last week, how far have you come? If I were to ask you at your 25-year-old self, what did you want? I'm sure you could check a couple boxes right now. And you could say, man, I wanted this house. I wanted this wife. I wanted these kids. I wanted this family. What I found is that wherever I focus and whatever I put my attention to, it's going to expand. It's going to make me either feel like shit or it's going to make me feel amazing. And when I compare myself to this unattainable level of perfection, where every week I'm losing weight and every week I'm hitting everything perfectly for 7 days, all the time, never miss, I'm a fucking robot, I have no emotions. Then I'm like, well, man, I'm just a real fucking human piece of shit. Like, man, it's gross. Like, why am I not perfect? That's called the gap. But whenever I look backwards and I check in with like, who was Brian in 2018? Who was Brian in 2020? Who was Brian 2 years ago, 2022? What did he want? What were his dreams? What were his goals? Man, I feel like I am miles ahead. And then, of course, intention, right? What is your intention with everything that you're doing? Are you doing it to get something? Yeah, we're all here to like get in great shape, look good, move well, flat stomachs, all that stuff. But if you're just doing it for that, that's shallow. That's a part, that's a byproduct. Don't get me wrong. I love looking good. Like I love having that. Like it's great. It's great for confidence. Okay. But that's just one layer. That's what I mean by it's shallow. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad to want it. What I'm saying is in terms of the depth, look at all these fucking balloons. Look at that shit. But the depth at which I'm going to be able to draw power from to stay consistent when it gets hard, to make better decisions when I don't feel like it, to honor the commitments that I make. That requires depth. What is my intention? See, every single one of you, when you enrolled in Unbreakable Dads, you did it, whether consciously or unconsciously, because you knew my intention was true, that I wanted to help you. You knew my intention was factual, that like, I'm not just there to collect a paycheck on that call. I'm there to fucking serve. You show up to these calls because you know that my heart and my head align with the mission and goals that I have for you and Unbreakable Dads, and I'm genuine in the way that I market. That's why on the onboarding call, I told you that you're probably going to want to quit at some point, right? Like I know, and I feel for you, and I'm empathetic. That's why I'm not saying that if you are getting frustrated or if you have been frustrated, that you're a bad person. I'm telling you that it's okay. And I hope that you feel my intention is to help you realize that A, you're not alone. B, it's just a season. And 3, you're capable of so many things. Look, I'm the dumbass college dropout who sold knives for 10 years. Okay. Like I'm not hyper impressive. I wasn't told that I was a genius. I didn't get the most amazing. I got good grades. I was good at school, but I wasn't the best. From the ages of 19 to 21, I was high 6 days out of the week. I got fired from almost every job until I got the job at Cutco. And even then, I almost got fired, which kind of can't get fired because I was an independent contractor, but like I kind of almost got fired. Like that kid, that guy, that 19-year-old, that 21-year-old, that fuck up, the guy who got kicked out of a club because he threw up in an orange juice glass container at the table and then was so drunk that I threw it on the dance floor and smashed it. and I got dragged out of a club at 22 years old like a fucking idiot. Like nobody would have connected the dots between that guy and this guy. And I'm sure you all have your stories. I'm sure you all have the dumb shit that you did. Right? But because my intention shifted when I was 25 years old into serving, my intention shifted away from how much money can I make into how much impact can I have. That's what led to Unbreakable Dads. That's what led to this group having 60 members. That's what led to all the transformations that you see. And so what's your intention? What depth are you pulling from? Are you doing this just for the body, or are you doing this to demonstrate to your kids that you can do hard things and that in life you're going to have setbacks? Are you doing it to install habits so that way they never have to lose 40 or 50 pounds? Are you doing it so that way you're showing up better and creating a safer environment at home? Because when you pull from that, guys, it's a whole lot easier to do the things you don't feel like doing in the moment. You know how many 4:30 a.m. wake ups I don't want to have? 99% of them. And you know what my first thought is if I don't get up right now, I let my entire clientele base down because they're counting on me. Like if I just threw everything away and just wanted to act hedonistically, I'd be fucking all you guys over because I can't lead unless I'm leading myself. But you need a deeper well. So ask yourself, why did I even get started? And remind yourself of that over and over again. Number 4, because I got to go here in 12 minutes. A bit of a talker. This is my favorite one. Fuck around and find out. What does this even mean? It means that sometimes life is going to poke at you. Life is going to sit there and it's going to poke you in the side. Like, you remember when you were a little kid, maybe you guys got siblings? My older brother used to do this shit all the time to me. And he was just like, because he was bigger than me and he could pick on me, right? And he would like poke me really hard. And like, fucking stop, like what the hell? Or he was a real asshole sometimes. And he'd like sit on my chest. He's 7 years older than me, dude. And my brother was like a fat kid. So like, I'm like 8. I'm like, under like this 15-year-old. And he'd take my hands and my arms because he was so much stronger than me. And he would make me slap myself in the face because, hey, he's an older brother and he was bored, I guess. Right. And that's what the universe sometimes does. It challenges you. It sets things up in a way that forces you to have to elevate. And it pokes at you. And it goes, are you sure? Are you sure you want that? Are you sure you want to be disciplined? Are you sure you want those goals? And the immediate reaction is just like a little boy. You're like, fucking stop. Make it easier. Why is this so hard? But the reality is, right? Sometimes we just got to put our fucking dick on the table. Sometimes we have to say to ourselves, all right, universe, you want to fuck around? You're going to find out, man. I'm going to level up. Sometimes we need that energy. Like when I booked that trip, you guys all saw, I've spent $65 to check a bag and fly food. Because I was like, fuck around and find out, man. I don't give a shit. We were told we're not allowed to eat anything other than the meals that the hotel provides. I was like, fuck around and find out. I walked right in with my food. I don't give a shit. And guess what? Nobody said anything to me. It was amazing. None of the hotel employees don't fucking care. They wrote a rule on a whiteboard. But are they really going to stop me and be like, sir, you cannot eat that? I'd be like, okay. But sometimes you got to tell the universe, all right, you want to fuck around? Well, you're about to find out who I really am. And guys, sometimes you have to draw that big dick energy out a little bit. Stand up for yourself. Or as the guy who ran the talk on Friday said, fucking dick on the table. Sure, let's fucking go. Number 5. As he put it on Friday, and I love it. He said, ease and grace sit on my face. And I laughed audibly out loud. Ease and grace. This is the one thing that we don't do enough as men. Truly. I am like this. I am so hard on myself. I will say the fucking meanest shit in between my ears in my head to myself about myself that I would never say to anyone. But man, if I miss something, man, if I feel like I fucked up, dude, it is brutal in between my ears sometimes. Anybody relate to that? Yeah, me too. And there's two things. And it's funny when he said this, I was like, man, I needed to hear this. We have to be reminded that, again, I've said it a million times, we're not perfect. We're just not. No one's going to be perfect. This is a lifelong journey. Guys, this is why I have 3 programs. So I have three stages, right? We have the 6-month foundations, we have the Unbreakable 2.0 roadmap, and then we have identity on the back end, right? So 3 programs. Friendly reminder, it takes 21 to 72 days to install a habit. Okay? This is getting it right. Right? You're practicing to get it right. It takes 1 to 2 years to create a lifestyle. This is can't get it wrong. And it takes 3 to 5 years to create an identity. This is it's just who I am. How many of you have that thing that you say about yourself? I'm shy. It's just who I am. I'm a hard worker. It's just who I am. Oh, I never wake up early. It's just who I am. I'm a night owl. That's identity. You want this fitness thing to become an identity to where it's like, yeah, I just work out in the morning. It's just who I am. It takes 3 to 5 years, guys. So if you've been with me for 6 weeks and you're not like, what? Why don't I feel like this is, easy and part of who I am? Look, ease and grace sit on my face, right? Like, take a moment. Give yourself a little bit of grace. It is hard to be fit, a great dad, and win in your career. It is literally called the triangle of insanity. I want to be an amazing husband. I want to be an amazing father. And I want to be crushing in my career. And then around all that, I want to have 15% body fat or less and have an amazing, healthy body. It is fucking hard. It is fucking psychotic. It is literally called the triad of insanity. Which means that if you've never made an attempt to win in every single one of the areas of your life, and maybe you feel like something takes a hit right now, that's okay. You're getting better. You're improving. Even if it's just one little thing. I remember when I first got started working out and I was working 80 to 100 hours a week at Cutco as the district manager of 10 locations, hundreds of employees. You know what my goal was? My goal was just how do I just get to the gym 3 times this week? That was it. It wasn't 6 days a week like how I'm doing now with the mobility day and then double sessions for cardio. And no, I didn't start like this. It's not like I woke up one day and I was just like, oh yeah, 2 days. Duh. Okay, I'm just going to do that now. No. When I first hired my coach at the end of 2018, I don't tell this story often. We started right in December. I have my progress pictures of it. You ever seen like my really tubby picture where I'm standing in the mirror with like the funny hair? That was my first ever progress picture. I was 40 pounds overweight. I was 230 pounds. I went 30 days. 30. I maybe hit my macros 10 times. I probably worked out in those 30 days like 9 times. Dead serious. I wish I still had the data so I could like screenshot those weeks. I have the pictures, but I don't have the data. 9 or 10 workouts, maybe. I was averaging like 2,500 steps a day. I called my coach after 4 weeks and I said, dude, I'm only down 1 pound. I was pissed. I was like, what the fuck, man, I'm gonna be fucking fat forever. Like, this sucks. And we're going into the holidays, and all I'm gonna want to do is fuck around, like fuck around on my diet and stuff like that. And I was drinking a ton at the time. And he was like, dude, you're still down a pound. Like, you're down a pound. You lost weight. And he started to kind of give me the mental models and the things like that. But if I didn't have ease and grace in that moment, if I didn't say, yeah, you know what? All right. November, I didn't work out at all. November, I didn't hit my macros even a little bit. November, I gained weight. This month, I actually netted out to be a pound less. And I'm tracked my macros 30% of the time, and I hit, I don't even know, right? 10, 5, 20, 50% of the workouts. All right. He was like, dude, you're actually making a ton of progress. You're just comparing yourself to something else. You're comparing yourself to this idealized version of yourself that actually doesn't exist. But if you're compared to yourself to what actually exists, which is a previous version of yourself, you've made a ton of progress, haven't you? And I'm sitting in a Lifetime gym thinking I'm about to quit. And I'm like, oh, yeah. And he's like, dude, give yourself some fucking credit. And that's the same fucking advice I'm going to give all you guys. Give yourself some fucking credit. Don't be so hard on yourself during this journey. I know it's hard to not be hard on yourself because we're all high performers. We all want to be great. We all want to be perfect. We all want those things. Me too. But the best lesson I learned that I constantly remind myself of is the ease and grace. We weren't born to be perfect. We were born to improve. 60 seconds and then I'm going to go. Okay. Last one. More, better, new. More, better, new. 99% of the time when we're in this stage 2 and stage 3, informed pessimism and valley of despair, we think, okay, I need new strategies. I need new things. I need new workout programs. I need to try out functional patterns. I need to try out kettlebell works. I need this. I need that. I need new. I will tell you that is a death cycle. That is what everybody does. That is why everybody fails. They hit valley of despair with keto and they're like, this doesn't work. I need to go on Whole30. And then they hit valley of despair with Whole30 and they're like, no, I need Weight Watchers. And then they hit that with Weight Watchers and they're like, I need V-Shred. And then they're like, no, I need fucking Orange Theory. No, I need a Peloton. You don't need new. What you need to do is more. What can you do one more of this week? Can you do one more workout? Can you hit your macros one more day? Can you hit your water one more day than you did last week? Can you hit one more breakfast? Can you meal prep a couple more meals? Can you buy more better snacks? That's the second one, better. How can you be a little bit better? If you were just guesstimating on your macros and you were kind of just eyeing it versus weighing it, can you weigh it this week? How can you get better at the disciplines versus needing more? Can you get better tension on your lifts? Can you be better about tracking your rest breaks versus, oops, that was 6 minutes. Didn't even realize. Can you get better at managing your schedule? Can you get better at crafting that schedule and planning your workouts ahead of time? Can you get better at communicating with your wife when you need to go, work out in the morning? Can you get better at going to bed early? And if after you've done more and you've gotten better at it in perpetuity, then maybe a little something new. But I promise you, none of you that are in this program need anything new. There's only 2 of you. right? Aaron and Mike, they've been with me long enough. But where you guys need to focus on is how can I just do a little bit more this week than I did last week? That's it. We don't need to worry about what's happened. Ease and grace sit on my face. Maybe we need to stand up for ourselves to the universe and not feel like in that victimhood mentality. We got to say, all right, you know what, universe, you want to put that shit on my plate? We're about to fuck around and find out. We need to pull from deeper depths of reasons why we do these things. We need to focus our attention on things that are going to make us better. The opportunities in front of you. We need to realize that it's going to take time, and the universe and our bodies work in a rhythm and flow. And then we have to ultimately remember that we're not doing this alone. Everything that we want in this world is already here. That body that you want already exists. We're slowly uncovering it. It's all there. Every single one of you has an abdomen. So poke your stomach, flex your abs. You can feel them underneath there. They're just hiding. We're just going to chip away, chip away, chip away. Even if, maybe you guys don't all want abs, but you know what I mean. Everything you want is already there. And you're not alone in going after it. You have me, you have Aaron, you have the community, and there is something out there, whatever denomination that you want to call it, that is orchestrating the world into exactly what you want. Remember, the universe is a giant yes button. Now, that's a yes for things not going your way, and that's a yes for things going your way. So just make sure you're using your attention and intention on the things that you want and how you want to feel versus trying to not do the things that you don't want. It's the difference between playing to win versus playing not to lose. Okay? So it's Monday. Start fresh. Play this week playing to win. Don't play not to lose. I'm going to make Aaron the host. He's going to do Q&A, right? Ask him literally anything. He is equally as intelligent as I am. I hope this talk was really impactful for you. At any rate, wherever you are, okay? And if you have any questions that you were coming on to ask me specifically, then just go ahead and send me a one-on-one message. Zach, I got your message. Just schedule a call, bro. All right, you don't need to ask or anything along those lines. You have the links on the top of your sheet, okay? Cool. All right, guys. It was great seeing everyone. I'm going to go hopefully not spend more than I've ever spent in my life on taxes. Wish me luck. Ease and grace, right? A little bit of divine energy. I'll catch you later.